a little bit. I love to see that. Keep it up. Keep chatting all the time. I feel like when my iPad comes on, the sound is going to be on. I feel like I was using it for something the other day and I had the sound up. So we shall see.
Went into last second bake sale.
I sure did. Okay, we're good. The sound is on, but we are going to turn it down so that nobody has to hear it. Okay, this is good. Yay. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week so far. Tomorrow, holy cow, today's leap day. Should we all leap for joy because it's leap day? So we get an extra day of the year. We get an extra day in February. And I did post a little graphic on my Facebook page a couple days ago that we should all refrain from shopping. We don't need any craft supplies. We're not going to do any shopping on the 30th and 31st of February. I'm totally down with that. I told my husband, I said, yeah, the 30th and 31st of this month, I'm not going to buy any craft supplies. And he says, well, that's a first. I said, there is no 30th or 31st of February. He says, oh, yeah, that's right. Then he didn't think it was so funny. So too bad. So anyways, kind of exciting. Happy birthday to any of you leap babies out there that have birthdays on February 29th. You can actually have a real birthday today. That's very exciting. I had a girl in one of my grade school classes. I can see her face. I cannot remember her name. And she was a leap year baby. And she was always very sad on March 1st. Because she felt like her birthday got skipped or whatever, So I always felt kind of bad. And for some reason, that always stuck in my head about her. And I wish I could remember her name, but I cannot. But I can see her face vividly. But you know how that is. When you get old, that's what happens. Some things you remember, some things you don't. So anyway, yay. The only thing that I have to report about my son is that he's in Alaska. I think last week. Because last week when I was live, he had just stopped by on his way out of town. So he's been in Alaska for just about a week now. I think they have gone skiing up to Alyeska, which from what I understand is pretty amazing. There's lots of snow up there. So he's had lots of snow to have a lot of fun in because we have no snow here. We did get a bunch of snow. I want to say it was Monday or Tuesday, like maybe 5 or 6 inches. But then the very next day, it was 45, 50 degrees. So we don't have a whole lot of that snow left. So there you go. But he's having a good time up there. They're just, I don't even know what they're doing. A lot of nothing, just hanging out and, enjoying each other's company. They have gone to do a little shopping. They've gone to some pawn shops. He's a big pawn shop lover. What he loves is things for a deal. He loves bargains. He gets that from my husband, who gets it from his mother. Not that I don't enjoy a bargain, because I absolutely do. But some people are just super thrifty. You know what I mean? They're just super thrifty. And my husband's mother is like that. He's like that. My son is like that. My daughter's pretty thrifty. I'm probably the biggest spendthrift in the family. And I don't buy very much stuff except for stamping stuff. Don't tell. I mean, I never buy new clothes because I don't care that much to have new clothes. I guess number one is I don't ever go anywhere because, I live in this room, in my stamp room, which I don't mind, honestly. And so, yes, I am going to a funeral tomorrow. So I do have to pull out some of the old clothing out of the closet. I tried it on today. It still fits. Thank goodness. So that should be not very exciting, but it is what it is. What else is going on around here? My daughter is getting excited for me to come visit her. I'm going to visit her next Sunday. So a week from Sunday, I'm going to leave here and head down to visit her. And I'm going to visit her in her town for a couple of days. Then we're driving into Denver to look for apartments. And then I'm flying out of Denver to Houston for the Stampin' Up. I've got a hair hanging down. It's bugging me. The Stampin' Up event. I was just watching the comments, and Patricia says that she has to tell us that the lavender stamping escape was amazing. And you know what? She's not wrong. It really was. We literally outdid ourselves. I mean, honestly, if we're being honest, we outdid ourselves on that event. Like crazily outdid ourselves. It was worth every penny everybody spent. We had lots of great feedback from everyone saying how much they loved it, and that, yeah, it was a really, really good event. Thankfully for everyone that's participating, it's on a Facebook group. All the stuff will be there forever. We did email out a big PDF file full of all the goodies. And so you can still get in on that if you're interested. I have 2 boxes left. You can message me about that, or you can just click the link in the description of this video and just sign up for a box. Because everything will stay in the Facebook group forever. So even though you can't like watch us live, we had 3 live classes. The lives are still there. You can still follow along. You can still make your project. You know, everything is still going to be there. So, and Patricia says she's already printed the PDF. So there you go. It was amazing, amazing class. We do have the online only version available. You can get to that with the link in the description of this video also. There is an online version. So, and if you don't understand the registration process, please message me. I'm happy to go over it with you, you know, whatever. So yeah. Okay. I think that's all. I have the most amazing thank you card to show you guys when I flip this camera. You're gonna love it just as much as I did. I just know you are. So let me get this camera flipped over and we will, get that in here. Okay, and now I got to figure out where is the switcheroo thing. There's the switcheroo. Okay, switch it again. Okay, there we are. So let me bring in this thank you card first before I share anything else, because I don't know, or because what am I even saying? Sometimes I just ramble and I don't even know what I'm talking about. I need to get this card in here. Okay. So I'm going to cover up the addresses. Okay, so it's from one of my customers' husbands, okay? His name is Lynn, and he sent it to me, the Bodacious Barb Mulligan, because whenever I send out packages, I always say to the something so-and-so. So I would say like to the lovely Barb Mulligan or to the amazing Barb Mulligan or whatever. And so I send his wife packages frequently, and he picks up the mail for her. And so he gets a kick out of all the different adjectives that I use to describe his lovely wife. And so, and I have started sending, like, sometimes I'll put a little treat in my package. So I've started adding double treats for them because he likes the treats too. So anyways, I got a card from him, and here it is. He literally hand cut this thing. You can tell because it's not even. And it says generic thank you. And it's got these 2 barcodes on it. Okay. Well, after I looked at the card and everything, and I thought, what are those barcodes from? So I got my phone out and I got my Walmart app out and I scanned them. It's bacon. He took these barcodes off of bacon. A man after my own heart. I love me some bacon. So then the inside, he just wrote a very, very nice note telling me thank you for, you know, making his day and his wife's day. And it was just, this is literally like, I'm going to hang this up in my office because I love this so much. So thank you so much, Lynn. I appreciate it so much. I don't know if his wife knows that he did this, but if she didn't, she will now because she does watch my live. So Margine, here you go. Tell Lynn he's amazing. And I am very, very thankful for you both. So there you go. So that's the only card I have to share, but it's literally the best. Okay, so oh gosh, that just cracks me up. Okay, so a lot of you are laughing about that. Yeah, it's the best card I think I've ever gotten, and the fact that he cut it up himself and put those, oh my gosh, just dying laughing, you guys. It's amazing. Okay, so today's the last day of celebration. In case you did not know, where's my book? Last day to get any information, you know, any of these goodies that you might want out of the celebration brochure. We also have a list of extra items that you can get when you're placing your orders online. All those items will come up for you to choose from. So there you go. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody is asking a question. If no ideas, and of course I don't have this up, so I can't hear. Oh, wait, what did she say? Oh gosh, Brenda, I don't know how to do the closed captioning. I wonder if it's something that I don't have turned on my end. It's totally possible. I'll have to check into that because I honestly don't know the answer. So if somebody would maybe do me a great big favor and like at her in the comments and tell her that I'll check into it and see if it's something I can do on my end, I would love you guys forever. So thank you. Trisha's saying it doesn't always work during lives. Okay, so maybe you have to be watching the replay in order for the closed captioning to work. Is that what you guys are saying? Because again, I have no idea. Oh, Margine is in here and she commented and she said he showed her the card. Margine, it's my favorite card ever. I showed my husband. I sent it to my daughter. We loved it so much. So tell him thank you, thank you, thank you. It totally made my day. All right. It's also the last day for you guys to sign up as a demonstrator if that's something you were interested in doing. And being a demonstrator does not mean you have to do what I do, which is like, I don't have to do this. This is just something I choose to do in my business. Number one, I love it. Number two, I love it. And number three, I love doing it. So that's why I do this. Not every demonstrator does live classes. Not every demonstrator does videos. And nobody has to do anything they don't want to do. All the girls that are on my team, some of them do live classes. Some of them do in-person classes. Some of them don't do any type of classes. And that is totally fine. You can do whatever you want to do and you can not do whatever you don't want to do. So I welcome all levels of demonstrators, people who just want to get the discount and buy stuff for themselves. Perfect. People that maybe want to have some friends over, gather a few orders, make a little money. Perfect. People that maybe want to run it as a business, such as myself. Perfect. I'm happy to help you in whatever you want to do. And so, of course, you guys know you can get the glass mat, which obviously I don't have out here today. And the reason I don't have it out here today is because Dina Kelly and I were talking and somebody mentioned something to Dina that it made her videos not look as crisp and clear as they used to. And so I don't ever want to compromise the quality of my video. And so if my glass mat is compromising the quality of my video, then I'm not going to use it when I make videos. So I'll just bring it in and out as I'm stamping for myself. But if it's causing problems in a video, then I don't want it to cause problems in a video. So I do still use it, just not when I'm doing a video. So you can still get that if you sign up to be a member of my team, and you have until midnight tonight to do that. If you have any questions, I'll be monitoring my emails throughout the evening. So shoot me an email, barb@barbstamps.com, and I'm happy to help you. Okay. So for today's cards, this is the host code that you would need to use. So if you place an order in my store between today, now, and midnight, March 6th, then you will get a kit to create the cards that I'm going to demonstrate for you tonight. Okay. And in my kits, I do feature a bundle or a stamp set or something, and I'm featuring the Thoughtful Expressions bundle. So what that means as far as my classes go, I am not going to give you any die cuts that would come out of this particular die set, because I want you to have this so that you can stamp your images and do the die cutting, and everything will look the way that I look, the way that I'm making the cards look. Now, of course, if you don't want to do that and you just want a pre-cut cardstock kit and you want to cut your own pieces out and do your own thing, absolutely go ahead and place your order and I will send you the cardstock kit. So I'll give you all the pieces of cardstock that you need to do all the die cutting. If anything is ran through an embossing folder, I will do that for you. If you need any sort of a punched out shape or die cut shape that's not in this particular die set, I will include that for you. But this is what I'm featuring, so this is kind of what I'm basing it on, and so this is what I would like you to have if you want to make everything the same way that I'm doing it. So enough of that disclaimer. So when you do that, you will order $35, you'll get the kit. If you order $50, you'll get the kit plus my tutorial for, well, if you order it today, I'll give you the February tutorial. If you order in March, you'll get the March tutorial, which uses the Lighter Than Air stamp set and die set. And then if you order $75, you get the Precut Cardstock Kit, the Global Tutorial, and you're going to get the embellishment that I'm going to use tonight, which is the iridescent pearls. So that's what I'm going to use. And these, if you were wondering, they color really, really nicely. Not every embellishment takes color really well, but these take color really, really well. So we're going to use those. All right. So let me fold those over. Oh, I already talked about the Lavender Dreams. I have 2 boxes left. Let me know if you want one. Oh, here's the More to Celebrate stuff. I knew I had a graphic for it somewhere. So we've got a couple stamp sets, some packs of Designer Series paper, some of our kits, a little folder set, the Sweet Thoughts, Memories, and More cards and envelopes. These are on low inventory when I checked before I went live here. The new core color markers for a $100 order. I got myself a second set of those. And then the Dragonfly Punch. All right, the glass mat, of course, is free to you if you sign up to be a demonstrator. If you don't want the glass mat, then you can add an additional $30 of product into your kit. The Trusty Tools class, I sent all my kits out last week. So everyone who's already registered for this has their kit. I have 4 kits left. If you're interested in a kit, you can click the link in the description of this video to get it. And so there we go. Oh, Nancy, I just saw a comment that says, so is Nancy, are you saying you're going to get me bacon for my birthday? You can get me bacon for my birthday. I love bacon. Oh my gosh, you guys, that just kills me. Okay, so adhesive kits, I always have these for sale. They do have a seal adhesive, the full one, a box of glue dots, a liquid glue, a roll of tear and tape, an adhesive eraser, a glue eraser, a ruler, and dimensionals, a full pack of regular dimensionals, and then I have some black dimensionals, the big and large dimensionals also. So, and then you get a cute bag to go with it. And I see one of my team members on here, Kathy. Hello. Kathy's one of my team members, and she's amazing, as are all my team members. And finally, Stamp Happy Academy. So the PDF file for this class that I'm going to demonstrate for you tonight will be loaded onto Stamp Happy Academy either tomorrow or Saturday. Like I said, I have a funeral I have to attend tomorrow, so that's going to kind of cut into my day a little bit. So I might not get it up tomorrow, but it'll be up Saturday for sure. And Stamp Happy Academy members have all of our PDF files all in one place, so it's a great resource for you guys. And then we have our live classes. Dina did her live class on, I believe it was Tuesday. Amazing cards. And I'm going to be live on this next coming Tuesday. So get yourself signed up for Stamp Happy Academy, and you will not be sorry. All right, so along with the Thoughtful Expressions paper, or I mean bundle, there is the Poetic Expressions Designer Series paper, which I'm going to be using in my project tonight, and you will get the pieces of this paper for your projects. Okay, so I will cut them to size and I will include them in your kit. All right, I want to get that out there. So let me go ahead and get my first project packet out here. All right, that's a scratch paper. And Lisa says she just recently signed back up for Stamp Happy Academy, and it's amazing. Lisa, you're not wrong. All right, we have this and this. Trying to get all my pieces and parts out of here. I got another piece of white. I got this piece of Designer Series paper. I have already cut myself this die cut here. So you will get a piece of cardstock that you will be able to die cut this out of for yourself. And of course, if you don't want to, you could get the piece of cardstock. You could cut a circle. You know, a similar shape would probably work as well. And there you go. Okay, so what else do I have here? We also have a 1/2-inch strip. Oh, I guess I should tell you the measurements. I've got a 1/2-inch strip of boho blue. This is probably about 5.5 inches long. We are going to trim it. So I'm not sure of the exact length of it just yet, but just give yourself a 1/2-inch strip and then we'll be good. Of course, the piece of white to do your die cut. We have a piece of this pattern of the Designer Series paper, and this measures a 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I have this piece of white. I'm not positive I'm going to use it yet, so I'm not even going to talk about it yet. We might use it. If we do, you'll definitely get it in your kit. We have another piece of white. You can see I've already done some stamping and coloring on it, but I don't want to show it just yet. This also measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then we have a piece of Pebbled Path that measures 7 by 4 3/4. And you can see that I have die cut some things out of the back of this. So this die set comes with some fun leafy pieces. These little guys right here. And you can see I have cut those twice. I cut this other leaf out. I ended up not using it. So you can cut it out of here if you want to. You don't, it's not necessary. We're not going to use it, but we are going to use the 4 of these little guys, 2 of these and 2 of these. All right. And so you can see I have scored that in the middle. So it originally was, what did I say? 7. Yeah, 7 by 4 3/4, and then I folded it in half. So now it is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Okay, so this is a tiny, tiny fun fold card. Not really, but tiny bit of a fun fold card. And then our card base is the boho blue, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I just have a scratch paper of white that we're going to use. Okay, so I need my white circular-ish die cut, circle-ish, I'm going to call it. And I'm gonna, what do I need? I need my scratch paper. I probably need another scratch paper because I think I'm going to end up stamping off of this little guy here. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of putting my scratch paper over the middle of this so that I don't stamp. You'll see what I mean in a second here. So I've got my scratch paper covering like half of this label, and I'm going to ink up this large floral image that's in the stamp set in Memento. Okay. And then we're going to stamp it. So we're trying to get like it in the middle, the top half of this piece here. So I'm just going to do something like that. So you can see I did stamp some onto my scratch paper. Totally fine. I want it on my scratch paper, not on my label. So I'm going to put this back over the center. And then I'm going to ink this up again with the Memento. And I'm going to stamp this one more time onto my label. There we go. And so this is what I have. So you don't have to have a space in the middle. That's just how mine worked out, because we're going to cover up this center section with our sentiment strip. Okay. So that's just to help keep from going over the middle with your stamp. So then we're going to bring in some markers. And you guys know I say this every time I'm live. When I color stuff, I don't believe that things have to be colored what they really are in nature. I feel like you can color something any color you want. And so for me, I'm going to color this floral spray with some boho blue and some pebbled path. So for my flowers, I am going to do a little bit with my light boho blue marker. I'm just kind of going over where the stamp has already gotten some lines. I like when the stamps do that because it's very helpful for me who doesn't really color that well, so that I kind of know where to, if I'm trying to shade something or shadow something, that helps me know where to put the color. So let's just, and I'm not going all the way to the top or to the edge of these petals. And mainly the reason why is just because I don't want it to be completely covered. I want there to be some white space, and that's just a personal preference. I mean, obviously, if you don't like the white space, then you should absolutely not have any white space, and you should color the whole thing if that's what you want to do. So I'm just going to kind of add a little more here and there and get what I want done. And then I'm going to come in with my dark marker. And then I'm going to add a little bit of detail to the center portion of it. Diana is asking me, what do I store my blender pens in? Actually, Diana, I store them in, actually, you know what? I might be able to show you. Let's see. I'm going to try to like rotate my camera so you can sort of see what I've got right in front of my face. So you can see I have this is all Stampin' Up! Storage. I've got my ink pads. Ooh, if we can we get it up even a little bit higher? You can see my blends clear up there. That's my blends are on top of my ink pads. And then I have little boxes at the very top where I have my ink refills. So that is how I store. So, I mean, everything that I need is right here in front of my face. All my ink pads, all my markers, all my blends, my tool caddy, my ink refills, everything is right there. And then I have some stuff right here, some other kind of ink pads, my blending brushes. So everything is right here. I have this kind of wooden frame thing that a friend made for me. And it's literally just 2 pieces of wood here and a top piece so that I have all this space under here to use. And then I have all my pads and everything above me. So hopefully that's helpful to somebody. It's nothing special. It's nothing fancy. I didn't spend $1 million. I know some people have these most amazing stamp rooms and they have all this IKEA stuff and all these inserts and they've spent hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars. I don't have hundreds and thousands of dollars to spend on stuff like that. So I just sort of, made my own with my I probably spent maybe $200 on all that storage. So anyway, that's how I do it. So now I've got my dark boho blue and I'm just going to kind of tap up and down here in the middle of this flower to kind of get the center section done. So it's a little bit darker than the petals. And again, I'm still leaving some white space. Just because, again, like I said, that's how I want to do it. I'm going to maybe throw a little bit of the dark onto some of these lines that the stamp's already given me. And again, I'm not very good at coloring. It's definitely not one of my great skills. Okay, so like I said before, I don't always care what something actually is in real life. I want to color it what I want to color it. So these leaves here, I am going to color a light, what is this? Pebbled path. These kind of larger leaves here, I'm doing the light pebbled path. And then there are some like other little leaves that I'm going to come back in, and I think I'm going to use a light gray granite. We're going to see what I end up doing here. I might not. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. I mean, if that's what you want to do, if you've got hundreds and thousands of dollars and you want to have a fancy stamp room, then you absolutely should. I don't want to shame anybody that has a fancy stamp room. I just want people to know that, you know, a lot of people show their fancy stamp rooms and they are amazing, and more power to them. But you don't have to have a big old fancy stamp room, you know, to stamp, because I don't. Okay, so this is a light gray granite, and I think I just want to do these little leafy things here in the light gray granite, because I want to color them, but I don't want them to be super dark like the pebbled path would make them. So I'm just kind of going with the light gray granite. And I think it's enough of the same-ish kind of color that it will look fine. All right, what do I have? Did I get them all? Oh no, I got this one here. And it's actually really light. And after it's drying even lighter than I had anticipated. So I'm going to kind of go over it again and try to darken that up just a skosh. Okay. So speaking of stamp rooms, I want to know how many of you have these super fancy stamp rooms. I'll probably be jealous. Okay. I am going to now get the Pebbled Path ink here, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment right here. And this is the kind of longer sentiment that's in the set. Oh, I think it's dirty. Hold on, I got to clean it off. Natural nut. So it looks like a lot of you guys don't have, maybe not everybody has them. So yeah, they're fun to look at, and I find myself being a bit envious sometimes. But then, it's reality, and I don't need it. What I have works perfect. So yeah. Okay, so I am going to try to stamp this in the middle. We will see what happens. Wow, I think I did a pretty good job there. Joan, your living room with a folding table does count as a fancy stamp room. Just wanted to make that clear. Absolutely. Okay, so this is going to end up going over our center section that we kind of, didn't want to go over. So I'm going to figure out where the center is for this. Something about like that. And then I'm going to snip off some of this excess here. And then I'm going to flag the ends. So I'm going to try to cut off so it's about the same. And I'll measure it so then you guys can see if you want to cut yours the same. So mine is now like 4 1/4 inches long. Okay. And so now I'm going to just kind of flag this, and then we'll see if this is enough. This might actually not be long enough. Or it might be too long, I mean. Terry says she only stamps in her kitchen. I totally get that. I used to when we lived in a much smaller house. I stamped in my kitchen, and I literally had to drag stuff and hide stuff in every room because I had it all piled in my living room. But that really wasn't conducive to having, children and things. And so I'm cutting this because it's too long. So now I have cut it down, and it is 3 3/4 inches long. And so I used to do like classes in my home. And so I would literally have to move all of my stamping stuff out of the living room. I'd pile it all up in our bedroom. And then I'd get the folding tables out. And so everybody had a place to sit. And wow. And when we moved into this house, where I have my own space, oh, it was so nice. So nice. Okay. So I'm going to add that across the middle. So I'm going to use a few mini dimensionals. So I'm going to put one in the middle and one on each. Whoops. Hold on. I think I might need to back that one back just a little bit because I don't want, of course, it to stick off the edge. There we go. Mary says she thought about it, but she can buy a lot of stamps for that money. And that's true. All right, so now we're going to set this across the middle like so. And then we can bring in the rest of our cards here. So, okay. So this is where I may or may not use the white layer. My original thought process was just to put this piece of designer series paper on this, but as I'm looking at it, I don't think that's going to work. I think we need a layer of white. So we are going to bring in a layer of white, I'm pretty sure. Yep, that is going to look much, much better. So the DSP is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So then this layer of white is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And this is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Okay. So let's go ahead and get these together. So I'm going to add my designer series paper to my layer of white. Yeah, I thought we would have to use the white, but I thought, well, maybe we won't. But yeah, the white definitely makes that pop. Okay, so let's get this. So you can see there's a very, very thin border on this white piece. But it's just enough that it's really going to make the designer series paper pop off of the Pebbled Path layer. Okay, and you can do dimensionals on this if you want. I'm just going to go with some regular glue because I'm going to pop up my focal point. Okay, so there we have that. And then this is just going to be popped up right there on our, oh, you know what? We're going to have to redo this. Hold on. That's going to be too long. So I am doing this again, and then I will tell you again what I cut it to. Dang it anyway, Barb. Okay, and then this one, we're going to do that also. And we're going to come in here because I just realized when I stuck this on my main card that when I tried to open it, the card, it won't work. So these banner pieces can't go out. As you can see, if I had it right that when I tried to open this, it would not work. So your banners have to stay within the confines of the card, which is about 3 1/2 inches. So it's about 3 1/2 inches. Okay, let's go with some dimensionals on the back of this circle piece here. I think we can just go with all of those. Thanks, you guys. I am a boho blue psycho. I love boho blue so much. I'm going to be very sad when it retires in 2025. I don't want to freak anybody out. Not till 2025. All right, so then this is going to go onto our card base, and we're going to just be able to open that up so you can see where we needed to make sure that our little banner was in there. So for the inside, I went ahead and took a few stamps out of the set. So there's this little, I don't even know what you call it, little fun little piece here. And I stamped that a few times in the corner. So I stamped a big one here, then I just stamped the tip there, and then I just stamped the side right there. Colored it in, same as I colored on the front. And then this little flower here, I stamped, same thing, the boho blue with the Pebbled Path leaves. And then this is a phrase in the stamp set, "You're in my thoughts today." So enjoy your day. You're in my thoughts today. I mean, that sounds dumb. Maybe we have day too much, but it is what it is. Okay. And so I'm going to go around this and add my glue so that I can get my inside piece in here. And then we're going to add this whole thing to our layer of blue. And then I have some ribbon and some embellishments to add. Okay. So now we can go ahead and do this whole thing here. Get some glue all the way around. And try to center this. Oh, that's the hard thing. Sometimes the eyeballs work for this, and sometimes they don't. Okay. So that's what we have so far. So that's why I said it's a tiny bit of a fun fold. Very, very, very tiny bit of a fun fold. Not sure that you can qualify this as a fun fold, but it's a good card. All right, so I'm going to use my bone folder to make that nice and crisp. And then we have some Pebbled Path ribbon. You'll get a little chunk of this so you can tie yourself a bow. If you don't want to tie a bow, sometimes just tying a knot. If you're bow challenged, which I get it, tying bows is definitely, what do they call that? A learned skill. And not everyone can do it. It took me a while to kind of figure out my own way of doing it. And now I've kind of figured out how to do it. And so I normally, knock on wood, I don't normally fail at tying a bow anymore, but it did take a while for me to figure it out. And I'm going to snip that off just a little more. Okay, so we're tighten that up, and we are just going to kind of lay that right here when we get our gems out. So let me see. So now with these gems, I can either color them or leave them white. And you know what? I think I want to see. I'm going to do one. I'm going to take my dark Pebbled Path and I want to color one of these and see what happens. Dang, and I was just telling you how great they color, but maybe Pebbled Path is just not one of those colors that these you take, because I have used these before in classes and I was able to get them really, really nicely colored. So for whatever reason, I mean, it's working. You can see it's definitely darker than the other one. So I guess I shouldn't say it's not working. It is working. Maybe we'll go ahead and do a couple more here. So maybe that's just what they need. Just a little subtle bit of the Pebbled Path. Get that. Okay. And then I'm going to use a pair of scissors. So I need to figure out where I want to put these. Whoops, you little stinker. Don't you go running away from me. I think I'm going to put them on my white layer. Actually, I'm going to stick one here. Just the way that I ended up stamping my flowers left me a little bit of white space over here. And then a little bit of white space down there. So I am going to use my white space. And we're going to add our little doohickeys. I probably should be using my take your pick tool. Why am I doing this with scissors? That is a really good question. Okay, now for the bow. And I'm going to use a double glue dot on this just because this ribbon is a little bit thicker. And so I feel like it's definitely a 2 glue dot bow. All right, and I'm just going to stick that right there at the edge. I think I'm actually going to snip those off a little more. When I need to get real close, I need to bring in the big guns. These are my Stampin' Up! Used to sell these scissors, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have these. These are like your mother's fabric scissors. Oh gosh, did you see what I just did? I just totally ruined that. These are like your mother's fabric scissors. When I was a kid, my mother made a lot of our clothing, which I'm sure a lot of you had the same situation in your household. And she, of course, had fabric scissors. And boy, if you even looked at those fabric scissors, boy, she knew it, and you were in some deep trouble. So that's what these always were in my stamp room with my kids. These were like the fabric scissors. So I still have mine because I really like them. Okay, so there it is, card number 1 of the Thoughtful Expressions class. So that is one of the cards that you would make if you place a $35 order with me between now and next Wednesday evening at midnight. You'll get, oh, you know what? I totally forgot to put these on. Duh. I said to get these and then I didn't even use them. We are going to use them. We're going to tuck these underneath and have them stick out. Because look how fun that is. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to add a little glue back here on these thicker leaves. And luckily, my dimensional is not going to be in the way of this. If it was, I would just cut the flowers at the base, or cut these leaves at the base. But I don't need to do that. Okay. And then down here, let's see, do we have a dimensional in the way? Not really. Well, maybe. I'm going to go ahead and chop this off because I just feel like it's going to be in my way, and I don't want it to be in my way because I'm going to have glue on this, and that's the last thing I want, is for something to be in my way when I've got glue all over something. So we're just going to do that. And then this little guy here, we're just going to tuck that in as well. Okay. There, now it's done. There it is. We got to use our little leafy pieces that we cut out. Went to all that trouble to get them out of there. All right, let me get these bits off the desk. And we are going to bring in our supplies for the next card. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate that you like the card. I do too. All right, so our next card is going to use some wild wheat and some white and some berry burst. And then this fun little label you're going to need to die cut from a scrap that I'll provide. And then we're using this pattern out of the Designer Series paper, and this measures 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. And then this is going to measure 1 1/2 by 5 1/4. So they're going to layer together. Okay. That's, oh, obviously this is too long, but we're going to cut it off. No big deal. We've got a piece of white for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. We have a piece of, what is this? Wild wheat for the outside, 4 by 5 1/4, and then a wild wheat card base. So you're going to need to, from the scraps that I provide, cut this little label here, which is, how big is it? That might give you an idea if you're looking at your labels. From this little point, this is about 2 inches or so. And then we have this label here, and this label measures about 3 3/8 by 2. So that might help you to get your labels out. Okay, and then you're going to get 2 scraps of wild wheat. They're both going to measure like 1 1/2 by 4 1/4. You're also going to get 2 pieces of adhesive sheets. Okay, so I'm going to give you the adhesive sheets because we're going to die cut 6 of these flowers. Okay, so you're going to get 3 out of each strip, and then they're all going to have adhesive sheets already on the back. Okay, so we don't have to mess around with any liquid glue or anything like that. You're going to get 6 flowers out of your 2 sheets of paper. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this to our layer here. Get that out of the way. So I'm going to adhere the Designer Series paper to the layer of Berry Burst. I'm going to use some liquid glue to do that. And you'll have just a little bit of a border sticking out like a 1/16 of an inch on both the top and the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to put this across here. And then I'm going to snip off that excess Designer Series paper. So I'm going to put this about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, ish. And again, my eyeballs are terrible, so I am trying to see what's going on here. And I hear my computer dinging at me like a crazy thing, so I'm turning that off because we don't need to listen to that. All right, so obviously my Designer Series paper, a little long, not a problem. You can just chop it off. Okay, here we go. We've got our 6 flowers. And so what I like to do when I have adhesive sheets on something is I like to pinch an area between my finger and my thumb. And then I'm using the pokey end of my take your pick tool. And as I'm kind of pressing down, it will just find the space where the release paper is, and it will just take it off for me. All right, so we are going to add this piece. I'm actually going to snip some of the edge off, and I'm going to put it like right here on my card. And how beautiful that I had the adhesive sheets on there. Oh my gosh, so amazing. Okay, then this little guy, I'm going to stick up at the top, something like that. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. We're going to pinch it between our fingers and press in with our pokey tool, and it will just find that for us. And then we can add this piece right there. Okay, so we're obviously going to cut off a little bit of that top section. Okay, so then down here, I've got my little cheat sheet next to me here, so I kind of know where I'm sticking everything. I'm going to cut off some of this. Well, actually, I think I'm going to go like right down the middle. I'm going to have two halvesies here, and I'm going to peel the backing off. And of course, you can put your flowers anywhere you want. You do not have to put them in the same place that I'm putting mine. So I'm just going to kind of bump that up against that one there. And then, like I said, I have this little half section, and I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to put it up here in the corner. So like I said, we're going to have 6 total, and I think we're using them all. We'll see. We may not use them all. We might. That one right up there at the top of the layer. And again, we're just going to cut some of those excess things off. Not a problem at all. All right, so I've got another one that I'm going to cut in half. So maybe like that. And we're going to peel that one apart. Get our take your pick tool in there. Get those pieces off. And then we're going to come over here in the top corner. And I'm going to add this right up here. And again, the beauty of the adhesive sheets and this particular die cut is amazing. Okay. Then we have another halvesy here. So I'm going to take the paper off of that one. And I'm going to put it at the bottom. So kind of in the middle-ish, right at the edge. And we're going to press that down. And then we've got another one here that we're going to cut in half. Take the backing paper off of this one. And then we're going to stick that one underneath this right here. And again, if it's sticking off the edge, that's totally fine, because then we're just going to bring our paper snips in here, and we're going to come along and we're just going to snip off any excess that we see. Oh, hold on. That one did not stay. Where did it go? Oh, here it is right here. Oh, that's why it didn't stay. I didn't take the backing paper off. So if you don't take the backing paper off, they won't stick. All right, so was this one, was that the one? No, wait a minute. One of these has the backing paper taken off of it. I'm sure it does. Aha! It's this one right here. And I meant to stick it down on purpose. Clearly, I didn't press it down hard enough. Okay, that's why it fell off. I'm like, what is going on? That should not be happening. Okay. And then we're going to snip off that, and look what we have. And you'll be thinking to yourself, why is there a blank space there? I know. We're going to be putting something in that blank space. So we have this flower. We have 2.5 flowers left, I think is what I've got, because I think all these are just bits. So I'm going to move those out. So we've got our 2.5 flowers left. I'm going to stick them up there. And then I'm going to bring in a scrap of white. You can see that I have already stamped a hummingbird on here. I was practicing of how to color a hummingbird, and I can tell you that I was actually pretty happy with how mine turned out. So to color my hummingbird, I'm using wild wheat, and I'm going to use a tiny bit of berry burst. So I've got the berry burst here, and I'm going to kind of color in the breast of the hummingbird. So I'm just going to kind of go around this little doohickey thing there, and I'm just going to add in some berry burst. Okay, maybe we'll go up in there. Now to kind of tone that down just a little bit, I've got a bubble bath marker here, this was a light berry burst, and this is a light bubble bath. And I'm going to kind of go over that with my bubble bath just to kind of lighten it up just a little bit. All right. And then I'm going to bring in my light, what is this? We just talked about it, wild wheat. And I am now going to color in the remaining feathers on this hummingbird. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of birds, not because I don't like birds. I just am really not that good at coloring birds. So hopefully you'll enjoy what I do with this bird. If you don't, that's okay too. That's okay, because I'm sure a lot of you can color way better than this. Way, way better than this. I'm going to go around the eye, into the beak just a little bit. And then I'm going to bring in my dark. And I'm going to just kind of add some dark where, you know, the stamp gives us the dark spots. So we'll just kind of add a little bit of shading here. Again, not because I know what I'm doing, but because the stamp really, really helps me. And we'll just dot, dot, dot there, maybe a little on the head. Okay, then I'm going to bring the berry burst back in, and I'm going to add a little bit more berry burst in some of this dark area that I just added with the dark one. And then I'll bring in my light one more time and just kind of color that in again, just to kind of soften that berry burst just a little bit. Well, actually, I think I'm going to bring a little bit more of the berry burst, maybe like that. I'm trying to look at my cheater thing here that I did earlier that I actually really liked. And you're going to see it in a minute because I'm not going to die cut this one. I'm just going to use the one that I already die cut. Okay, so that's going to be my hummingbird. Again, I don't think a hummingbird is those colors, but it works for my card, so that's why it has to be like that. Okay, so here I cut it out. So this is the one that I did earlier. Hope you guys like it. If you don't, I get it. It's not great, but it'll do. So then we have our label here. This is the white label that we're going to add to the card, something like this, and we're going to add this behind it. So this I'm going to cut in half like this. So I'm cutting it from kind of small point to small point, and I'm going to add it to the back. Now, I'm just going to throw a little bit of glue right here in this area, if the glue will come out. Yes, there it is. And then I'm just going to kind of wiggle this piece so when it's centered from side to side and sticking up about where I want it to stick up. So that's about what I was looking for. And now I'm going to bring the other piece in, and I'm going to do the same thing with that. Again, trying to center it from side to side and then have it have about the same amount of the berry burst showing. Okay. And then this is going to go on the front, and then look at this. Our hummingbird is going to go like that. So we don't need a flower in that area. So now you kind of see why I didn't stick one of those flowers in that area, because I don't need it in there. All right. So, but before we do that, I am going to stamp my sentiment on here, and my sentiment is right here. And I wondered kind of about what I was going to do, like if I was going to do berry burst or if I was going to do black, but I ended up going with the wild wheat. I liked that a little bit better. Now my wild wheat pad is kind of juicy, so I'm just going to take the dull side of this happens to be a Pampered Chef knife, just to kind of press that ink down into my pad. That will kind of make it not so harsh. All right, and I probably should have done this before I stuck those on there, but we're gonna cross our fingers and hope that it works. Barb does this all the time, where she should do something before she does something else, and then she doesn't, and then it's a problem, but that worked out fine. Okay, so then we can go ahead and attach this to the card, and I'm going to use just regular glue because I'm going to do my hummingbird on some dimensionals. All right, so this we're going to attach, and I'm kind of trying to eyeball the label so that it's centered on this strip here. That's kind of my goal, to have it centered. So we'll just try, I think that it's centered there. Now we can add some dimensionals to our hummingbird friend here. We can put a big one there, a big one there. I think I'm going to need some minis. I'm right there on the head. I really want to get one. So what I'm going to do is there's some edge pieces here, and I'm just going to try to cut a little sliver of an edge piece, and we'll see if we can get that on the beak, beak. I don't know. Okay. we were able to do it. So yay. I think we're going to go one more right here. Okay, take all the paper backings off. There we go. And then we're going to add our little hummingbird friend right over our sentiment and then onto the card. And then, of course, this will be layered onto the front. So we've done all of our decorating, and now we can attach this to this. And I think that will work pretty good. Okay. So while I wait for that to dry a little bit, we're going to do something to the inside. I am going to go with that same little flower that I used on the other project, just because I really like it and it's going to just look really cute sitting down here. So we're going to go with some memento. And I'm just going to put one little flower like right here on the inside, and then I'll color it with probably some berry burst and some wild wheat. So I'm going to do the leaves, wild wheat. And of course, like I always say, I don't really care what something is supposed to be. I'm going to color it what I want it to be. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to bring in the berry burst. This is the light. And I'm just going to try to kind of lightly come in here and get this flower somewhat colored. Again, I'm not going to color the whole thing. I just feel like this flower just kind of lends itself to not being colored in all the way, just because of the kind of, I don't know, the kind of whatever these little, you know, loopy kind of things are. To me, it just kind of says, you know, I don't need to be completely colored in. Unless you want to color it in, then you can. All right, and we're going to do a dark. We're just going to dot the middle here of the flower with our dark. And then we're just going to glue that on the inside, and it's done. And then my next project is kind of a little, it's a basket, you guys. So you can use it for whatever. You can gift it to a friend. You could use it as an Easter basket for a grandchild or a neighbor, a little niece or nephew, your own child, whatever you might need to use it for. All right, so there is our card number 2, but we do need to add some gems. Ooh, you know what? I wonder if we could stick some of these big ones into the centers of these flowers. Let's just take a look-see here. How would that look? Ooh, I think I might like it. And you have so many of these things on the sheet that, you know what? You might as well just use them, right? Let's come back and grab another one. Yeah. I think I'm going to be okay with adding these to the centers of these flowers and using a whole bunch of them. I'm not mad about it at all. Okay, and that one. Ooh, that is really, yeah. That makes me happy. Okay, so that's our finished card. So let me put the gems out of the way and let me bring in, well, let me put all this other stuff that we're done with back into the bucket. We don't need these. It's possible we might need the glue dots and stuff, but okay, here we go. Let's get that stuff for the last project. Okay. So this is what I'm going to move that out of the way for a moment. We'll bring it back in at the end. So this is what we have to make. This is a basket that's been around forever and ever, as long as I can remember. And I'm going to be celebrating my 21st year as a demonstrator in April. So this has been around forever. You've probably seen it made 5 times. You've probably made it yourself. Super, super simple basket. So it takes a 6x6 piece of cardstock or designer series paper. For this particular project, we're going to use cardstock. So it's a 6x6. It's boho blue. Did I mention I love boho blue? So we are going to score this at 4 and 2 inches, or 2 and 4, however you want to do your math. I'm going to put it at the biggest measurement and then drag it back to the smaller one. So 2 and 4, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to do that again. So 2 and 4 again. Okay, super simple. So now we have a grid or tic-tac-toe board, whatever you want to call it. and we're going to fold on the score lines. So when I'm folding on the score lines, I need my bone folder, and I'm pretty sure, oh, here it is. When I fold up, I want to make sure that right here and right here line up, and they do. So there we go. And then I'll fold this opposite side again. I'm just going to try to make sure that the edges line up. And then we'll fold it the other way, doing the same thing, because I can kind of see where it's a little bit off over here. So I'm going to force it to not be off when I fold it. Oh, Melissa, you are a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have folded on everything. Now we need to take some scissors and we need to cut up on these two score lines and these two score lines. So whatever, it's the two opposites. All right, so we are going to cut up to the center on both of these sides. And again, like I said, this is not a new concept. You've probably done this 100 times. But this design and the decorating is probably what you haven't seen. All right. Get that up. There we go. So this is what we have now. Fun, fun, fun. So we are going to add some little squares of designer series paper to the, so this is kind of like the inside, because the box is, or the basket's going to kind of go like this. So then we're going to flip it over, and this is kind of the outside. Okay. So we're going to take some pieces of designer series paper. If your paper has a pattern, you just want to make sure that your pattern, so this, like these patterns are correct this way. And I'm going to glue those on. You can use whatever glue you want. I like liquid glue. I'm pretty handy with the liquid glue. I don't usually have, excuse me, too much trouble with it squishing out all over. But if you do, then definitely just use your adhesive of choice. All right, so we'll get these two on in the corners. Oh, these little squares are 1 3/4 inch square. Okay, so then I'm going to turn my basket. And again, in my opinion, these have an orientation. Maybe they don't to you, but they do to me. So I'm just doing it so it looks right. And I'm going to squeeze out a little more glue and get it up in these corners. Whoops. Something like that. And then one more. So if you use designer series paper to make your basket, you don't need to glue any squares in the corners. But then, of course, your designer series paper basket might not be quite as sturdy as a cardstock basket. So take that into consideration, like depending on what you're going to stick into. If you're going to put like a whole bunch of chocolate, you might want to go with a cardstock basket. Okay, so we have our designer series paper pieces on there, and now we need to add some adhesive. So what we're going to do is we're going to add adhesive right here and right here. So I'm on the inside now. So I've got my adhesive really close to this center section, and I'm going to put it up here at the top also. Okay, so I've got close to the center section here and then the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these two pieces in, and I'm going to line up the points. Okay, I'm going to squish those together, and then I'm going to push that one against it. And that way I should get all of the edges. Everything is stuck together nicely. So we're going to do that same thing again. We're going to fold that into the inside of the box and get some glue on the top. And then we're going to get the glue close to that inside piece on 1, close to the inside piece on 2. So you can kind of see how we've got that. We folded that to the inside, have the glue there, and then those two again. Again, we're going to bring the points together, push those together, and then just push that one into it. And then it just sort of makes the box pretty simply. And now I sometimes like to take my bone folder and just kind of rub in there, flip it over, and do that again. Okay, so here's our basic box shape. Cute. If you want to add some more pieces here, you could. I'm just not going to. So then we have a, well, very welcome to Evangeliste. Is that how we pronounce your name? I'm assuming, maybe. Welcome. So I have a 3/4 inch by 6 inch piece of the same color, boho blue. And I have a 1/2 inch by 6 inch piece of the same pattern of designer series paper. You're going to get all this stuff. You're going to get the 6 by 6 piece here, the little squares, 4 of them. You're going to get the handle pieces. So that's all going to come in your kit. And we're just going to add some glue to this little skinny strip of DSP, and we're just going to center it on to our handle piece. And I've seen people do handles with ribbon, with just designer series paper, just cardstocks. I mean, you can do it with whatever you want. My designer series paper is a teeny tiny bit long. So now we kind of want to make this, we want it to kind of curl a little. So I'm going to use my bone folder and just pretend like I'm kind of curling ribbon, because I'm just wanting my handle to kind of curl on its own when I stick it on my basket. So I'm just kind of already forcing it to want to go that way before I even glue it down. Okay, so we kind of have our basket handle started. So we're going to add our basket handle to the inside pieces here, right on top of this little ledge. Okay, so we're going to put our glue in the middle. Well, if our glue would come out, we would stick it in the middle. So I'm going to put my glue in the middle, just like that. And then I'm going to, hopefully you guys can sort of see what I'm doing. I'm just going to push my handle piece in so that it sits on that little ledge. And then I want to put it in the middle too. So put it against the ledge and then bring it to the outside and just kind of make sure that the 2 points are kind of right in the middle of your handle. And then again, I'm going to bring my bone folder in here and kind of press that into place. All right, so then I'm going to come back here. I'm going to add some more glue in the middle on the inside. And I'm going to put my other piece in there. Again, putting it on the little ledge and then making sure that it's in the center on the outside as well. Now, if it's not perfect, no one's going to notice. And then again, I'll use my bone folder to kind of rub that and press that into place. So there, oh goodness, that did not stick. Hold on. Maybe I should have used a different adhesive. Maybe my glue needs to dry a little bit before I get going crazy with this basket. All right. Well, it's going to get a chance to dry now because we're done with the basket for the moment. So now we're going to decorate it. Okay. So you're going to get a piece of Mossy Meadow in your kit, and you're going to need to cut out this label. And this is, which label is this? So this is the biggest label. I'm pretty sure. No, I'm lying. It's not the biggest label. Hold on. All right. So here is your labels on your sheet. So we have the biggest, and then we have the next, and then we have the next. This is the third largest label, okay? So your third largest label, you're going to cut out of Mossy Meadow. So here that is. And then I'm going to give you a 2 1/4 inch circle punch out of white, okay? That's going to be layered onto your label. Now, we don't sell a 2 1/4 inch circle punch anymore. We haven't for quite a while, but you can get one on Amazon. If you don't have this size punch and you want it, I do have a link to, you can get it on Amazon in the description of this video. We do sell a 2 3/8, which I do have a sample in here, but it's just a little bit too big, I feel like. It just kind of covers up more of the label than I would like. So that's why I went with the 2 1/4. A 2 inch would be even smaller, so you'd have more of the green label showing. And if that's what you want, then perfect. But if you do want 2 1/4, you'll get the circle from me in the kit. But if you want your own punch, then you'd need to get it on Amazon. So, all right, so we are going to do a tiny bit of stamping on this. We are going to bring in that same long image that we used on the first card. So I'm going to clean that off. Make sure it is all free of black ink. And I'm going to mask off. Let me spank it so it's dry. I'm going to mask off the words your day, and I'm just going to say enjoy. Okay, so I have enjoy showing right here, and I'm going to bring in my memento, and I'm going to ink up just enjoy. And then the most important thing about masking stamps is to remove your tape. I'm going to huff on that just a little bit, and then I'm going to try to stamp my enjoy in the middle-ish at the bottom. We'll see what happens. I did pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to set my stamp aside. I'm going to throw my tape in the garbage because we don't need any tape transferring ink to us and making us sad. All right, I'm looking for a white scrap. So you'll have some scrap of white in your kit, and we're going to need to stamp 2 images here. Where are they? We're going to stamp this little flower from the 2 previous cards. And then this little guy here is kind of like the foliage piece that we stamped on the inside of the first card. Okay, so we're getting both of those images. We are going to cut them out with, where is my, see, I already cut these pieces out and now I've lost them. Okay, where is my sleeve that I keep all my bits in? Well, that is a fine how do you do, isn't it? What would I have done with that? Oh, found them. Okay, crisis averted. Okay, so we need our Mossy Meadow markers and our boho blue markers. And we're going to color in. We've got the light boho blue, and I'm going to do this flower the same way I've done all of the flowers so far, which is not really coloring it all in, because that's just how I roll. And again, if you guys want to color it all in, then you absolutely should, because it's beautiful. I'm sure it's beautiful all colored in. I just really like it not all colored in. And then, you know, I don't have to do as much work, and I don't have to worry that it's like all shaded nice, because I'm just not that good at coloring. So then these tiny little flowers, I am just tapping my marker straight up and down to get all these areas colored in. The areas are pretty small. Actually, they're too small for me to really color. So that is why I choose to like tap my marker up and down to get them colored that way. All right. Then we've got our light Mossy Meadow marker. Do a little bit of coloring here on the leaf. Did I color the whole thing in? The leaf, I guess I did. So it's okay for me to color in the whole leaf, but not okay for me to color in the whole flower. Yeah, make sense of that if you can. Okay. And then we have our little leaves here on our little foliage piece. Okay. Then the inside I'm going to do with the dark boho. And again, I'm just kind of tapping straight up and down, just kind of tapping all those little dots that are in there. And then I have cut them out with the coordinating dies. There is coordinating dies in the set for both of these images, which is fantastic. And we are going to attach them to this little circle. So I'm going to do something like that. So let me get, why don't we use some mini dimensionals? That might be kind of fun. All right. Oh, you guys are helping each other. Thank you, Tony. Somebody must have wanted to know what the paper was. Yes, it's the Poetic Expressions. Thank you so much. I appreciate when you guys help each other out in the comments, because when I get going here, I forget, not that I forget you're there, but I forget to check the comments. So I do apologize for that. All right. And then this little guy, we're just going to put probably one dimensional, because the leaf pieces will then go ahead and set on top of this other image here. Something like that. And then we're going to glue this. You can see I was practicing my enjoy on the back here onto this label here. And now you might, if you care about how the label situates on the basket, then you might want to pay attention. Like I want these larger bumps to be the straight up and down. Does that make sense? Rather than, you know, these tiny ones, or just it be random, because I'm too anal to be random. So that's how I'm going to do it. If you don't care, then you don't care. Okay. So there is our little label for the basket. And so that's just going to go right here on the side of our basket. And so I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to add a little glue kind of right in the middle. And then set that in place. Okay. How cute is that? Now, if you happen to have like shreddy stuff, which you might, if you don't, you can take like little tiny bits of cardstock and crumple them up in your hands. Like you could have coordinating cardstock shreddy. So you could take like a bunch of Mossy Meadow or a bunch of blue and just cut it into super, super thin, like these 1/8" strips or something, and just squish them all together and then throw them in the basket. I have just happened to have this. I don't even know where this came from. I have a thing of shreddy multiple colors. And so I just use that. So you could fill this up. You could throw in some little treats. You could throw a gift card in there, whatever you want. Now, because you might want to use this as an Easter basket, I'm also going to give you the little bunny punch out. So if you don't want to do the whole flower thing, you can just add your little bunny punch out to the die cut from the set that you would die cut yourself. You could just add the bunny there and have it be a little Easter basket if that's what you wanted to do. But I didn't want it to be an Easter basket. I wanted it to kind of coordinate with all the rest of the cards that I was making, but I will give you the bunny just in case you do want to make a bunny card. All right. So those are my projects for this evening, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it very much. Remember, if you place a $35 order in my store, then I will send you a kit to make this project, or all these projects, actually. You have until the 6th of March, midnight at the 6th of March, to place your order. $35 order will get you the cardstock kit. If you place a $50 order, you'll get the cardstock kit and my global tutorial. If you place a $75 order, you'll get the kit, the tutorial, and a package of these adorable pearls. Okay, we'll bring in the other 2 cards. Here is our Wild Wheat Hummingbird. I hope you guys liked that. That was kind of a winging it for me with the coloring there, but I think it worked out pretty good. And there's the inside. And then remember that I'm not going to die cut these labels for you because the whole theme of my live this week was the Thoughtful Expressions bundle. So everything, you'll get cardstock pieces, but you'll need to die cut these things yourself. So, but I will give you this circle, this white circle here, and the bunny rabbit, and then all the other cardstock pieces. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. And I hope you guys have a fancy, well, you could have a fancy week. What do I know? Fancy, fabulous week. I'll be back here next week. And then I'll be gone the following week because it's on stage, but then I'll be back. So I'll be back next week. You have a week to order for these kits. And thank you guys again for watching. I appreciate it so much. Hope you have a great week. I'll see you again soon. Happy celebrating and good night.